Bitter criticism. Friday. Let's see what's going on in the world. Should us? Should? I don't know how to say. I don't speak English. Trump speak English. I was listening. He said something like that. Should us? Should we? Should we? Trump don't want us inside the U.S. people because of neoliberalism misery. United States is under misery, people. Yeah, they have problems with money and jobs and everything in development. But you know, some days ago, I guess, I don't remember, I've read a good news about America. I don't remember now, but says, I mean, I understand Trump, you know. Trump is saying it's kind of the only way possible to face this capitalist problems in 2024. Is very hard to explain. I'm not sure if Trump understands something about social democracy, but Trump will do. It's inevitable for Trump to do a second term social democrat only for Americans, and that's a protectionist measure. I understand him. His policies will be social democrat. I'm sorry, I'm delaying here. I forgot what I was saying. Well, Trump I read a news saying that Trump made a good government. I guess it was in Russia Today. The economy was better under Trump. I guess it was in Russia Today. And then I read here with you that Vladimir Putin is supporting Kamala Harris, but I guess that's biased. I guess that's hypocrisy. I guess that's a that's strategy, you know, from Vladimir Putin. I guess he's pretending. I guess Vladimir Putin is pretending supporting Kamala Harris. But not time for more conversation. Just let's go to the Russia Today. This cancel country, Russia, the cancel country. And it's been a while they are talking about. Nuclear war. Let's see what's real about this threat. September 13, 2024. Home, Russia and former Soviet Union. Putin's warning heard loud and clear, Kremlin said. The Russian leader says allowing attacks with Western long-range missiles will make NATO directly involved in the conflict. We have a file photo from the Kremlin, I guess. Yeah. The West has received and understood the latest warning by Russian President Vladimir Putin, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said on Friday. Putin stated earlier that allowing Ukraine to use Western supply weapons to hit targets deep inside Russia will make these countries directly involved in the conflict. The UK was the first country to announce the shipment of its own long-range missiles to Ukraine in May 2023, followed by France several months later. Washington revealed that it had supplied Kiev with ATACMS missiles this spring. However, Kiev's backers have publicly prohibited Ukraine from using the weapons against targets located deep inside internationally recognized Russian territory. Kiev has been demanding that these limitations be lifted since at least May. Several media outlets have suggested that Washington and London will soon do so, or secretly have already. Speaking to reporters on Friday, Peskov described Putin's latest warning as very important. And we have a related news. Read more. Enemies must realize Russia could go nuclear, ex-Kremlin advisor. I will read it later. The Russian president's statement was, quote, clear, unequivocal, and doesn't lend itself to multiple interpretations, the spokesman said. He added that, quote, we have no doubt that this statement has reached its recipients, end of quote. On Thursday, Putin explained that the Ukrainian military lacks the capabilities to use Western long-range systems and requires intelligence from NATO satellites and Western military personnel to operate them. In light of this, if the West allows Kiev to hit targets deep inside Russia, quote, this will mean that NATO countries, the US, European countries are fighting against Russia, he said. Quote, their direct participation in the Ukraine conflict, of course, significantly changes the very essence, the very nature of the hostilities, the president stressed. Putin added that Russia will make the appropriate decisions based on the threats facing us. Ahead of their visit to Kiev earlier this week, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy hinted that their countries could give Ukraine the green light for long-range strikes on Russian territory with British and American missiles. And the related news is from September 11. I don't remember this news, but it says, home Russian and former Soviet Union. Enemies must realize Russia could go nuclear, ex-Kremlin advisor. The existing doctrine is outdated and does not serve as a deterrent, Sergei Karaganov has said. We have a photograph of former Kremlin advisor Sergei Karaganov from Sputnik, Pavel Bednyakov. Russia's nuclear doctrine urgently needs to be revised to allow nuclear response to any major military aggression against the country, former Kremlin advisor Sergei Karaganov stated on Wednesday. The former foreign policy advisor to the deputy head of the Russian presidential administration told the Kommersant Daily that the existing document is, quote, hopefully outdated, not hopefully, and no longer serves as an effective deterrent. Hopefully, I guess. Adopted in 2020, Russia's nuclear doctrine does not provide for preemptive nuclear strikes and envisages the use of nuclear weapons only in, quote, exceptional cases in the face of a threat to the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country, according to Karaganov. According to Karaganov, this approach has rendered it nearly useless and has effectively excluded the nuclear deterrence factor from Russia's military and foreign policy arsenal. And there's another, I guess, is back 3 days from 2 days ago, so it's kind of 1 week ago. Read more. Russia not even thinking of using nuclear weapons, Putin. All this subject, this World War III trend, made me start with this channel, so it's very interesting. But I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling nothing about this. We have allowed the situation, quote, we have allowed the situation to deteriorate at a point when our adversaries believe we will not use nuclear weapons under any circumstances. Quote, end of quote. The political scientist said, having nuclear weapons without being able to convince our enemies that you are ready to use them is suicide. Having nuclear weapons without being able to convince our enemies that you are ready to use them is suicide. I didn't like it, but anyway, his words came amid the continued Ukrainian incursion into Russia's Kursk region and Kiev's attempts to receive permission for the use of Western long-range missiles to strike deep inside the country. Quote, it's high time we stated that any massive strikes against our territory give us a right to respond with a nuclear strike, Karaganov insists. He also called on Moscow to clearly define the nuclear escalation steps in the next doctrine to leave Russia's adversaries no room for doubt about whether it is ready to use its nuclear arsenal and when. President Vladimir Putin has repeatedly demonstrated a more reserved position to the issue. Talking to Karaganov at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum in June, the president said that Russia was, quote, not brandishing nuclear weapons, and expressed hope that, quote, it will never come to a nuclear exchange between Moscow and the West. Moscow has no reasons to even think about, using nuclear weapons, he said at the time, calling on Russian officials not even, quote, touch upon the subject of nuclear weapons unless absolutely necessary. Later in June, Putin also said that Russia did not need a preventive strike yet. Do not, quote, need a preventive strike yet because the enemy is guaranteed to be destroyed in a retaliatory strike. He did not rule out changes to the doctrine though. And I guess I'm going to read the related. This is from July 11. This is way too old. I'm not going to read that, but yeah. So, well, can you see? You may say this is Russia Today is Russia propaganda. Well, what they are doing is saying, hey, we will use nuclear weapons, and then we don't want nuclear weapons. And when Putin said Russia not even thinking of using nuclear weapons in July, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, understand? So things change, things change. You have to pay attention. That's it. Russia doesn't want to use nuclear weapons, but life is dire. Life is complicated. Trump says no more debates. No more debates. Trump, September 13 from today. It was on the front page too. No, the previous one was the front page. This is a little lower, a little earlier, I guess. September 13, 2024, Home World News. No more debates, Trump. Kamala Harris blew her chance when she shut down opportunities with Fox News and NBC. The former president has said Donald Trump arrives for a debate with Kamala Harris at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, September 10, 2024. I have to read this news because I miss what's going on with the U.S. elections. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has ruled out another debate with Kamala Harris, comparing the vice president to a boxer who lost a fight and wants a rematch. It's funny because Trump was organized a lot of fights. I saw Trump on Mike Tyson and I don't remember the other fighter, a champion that defeated Muhammad Ali and that's it. And Trump was there. Former U.S. president, a boxer, yeah, and wants a rematch. Harris, who rejected two earlier debates offers from Trump, said the two candidates owe it to the voters to face off again. Harris was widely regarded as winning Tuesday night's ABC News debates against Trump. I didn't knew that. Well, I will have to do it. I will have to watch it. I hope it's not so low, so bad behaved. I hope they behave. I hope they've been behaved. Anyway, debating economy, debating everything, but debating things, not debating. I was watching Trump saying Kamala Harris is communist. So what a terrible world when the American imperialism from Kamala Harris is communist for Trump. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, so that made me question if I have to support Trump, because Trump is a demagogue. And maybe demagogy is what the US needs urgently, but because Kamala Harris is so imperialist. Kamala Harris is the deep state imperialism. So maybe demagogy is better than that, but saying Kamala Harris is communist is pure ignorance from Trump. Trump doesn't know nothing about Marxism. Anyway, Harris was widely regarded as winning Tuesday's night ABC News debate against Trump, although subsequent polls have shown little change in voter attitudes, and several informal surveys found undecided voters backing Trump after the primetime showdown. The vice president campaign immediately called for a second debate, and Trump appeared open to the idea, telling Fox News on Wednesday that he will take part, but only if the debate was hosted by, quote, a fair network. I have a real nice argument about Marxism. Is this, look, what do you prefer, to be respected as a human, and your identity as a, I'm a Latin. I am a Latin. I'm not a Mexican. I have Italian citizenship, but let's say I was to the United States right away, and I was mistreated because of my background, because of my ethnicity, because I'm Italian. Well, that's fine. I mean, that's not fine, but that's the fact, that's the phenomenon. And what Democrats like Kamala Harris, they stand for, that my identity should be respect, and my identity, this is identitarianism, that's wokeism. Okay, let's move on. And well, and what's materialism? What's Marxism? Marxism is materialism. It's good opportunities, as good opportunities, not I mean, free speech, free speech is not be, if somebody is against Italian people, I don't care, this is the question. I'm not I don't discriminate. I don't discriminate. I don't discriminate, understand? So, and that's a principle for me, not discrimination, maybe tolerance, maybe not discrimination, not superficial discrimination, understand? So yeah, that's, but I'm free to have this principle, wokeism. Kamala Harris, wokeism, she said, this wokeism says that tolerance is mandatory. Tolerance is mandatory for Democrats. Well, I don't think so. I don't agree with that, because some people, they may be discriminatory, they may be just like that, discriminatory, just like Donald Trump, for example. Just maybe I do discriminate some people. I'm free to be like I am, Well, what happened is that wokeism is against free speech. Wokeism is against free speech, but let's move on. The free speech subject is important. It's important, but it's not the most important. Most important is just like Trump. The MAGA people, they make America great again. By material meanings, make America materially great again, materially. Like, people have great lives, people have good nutrition, people have good, I don't remember the time you work, or even have jobs, people don't even have jobs, have nice jobs, have not work too much, or maybe you can work too much if you want, but having great lives, that is materialism. Having great material lives, if somebody doesn't like you, well, people is free to like and dislike, that's not the question. The most important thing is to have good material lives. That's it. That's communism. That's Marxism. That's materialism. Anyway, that's the same subject of populism, if you want. Populism, Marxism, make America materialistic great again. That will be this headline: make America materially great again. Marxism. Understand? This is Marxism. I cannot synthesize it. I cannot synthesize it more, but nobody can deny that. That is communism. Look, China is communist. Chinese people is super happy, Chinese people is rich now. Anyway, everybody being rich, people being rich, that's it. Harris was widely regarded as winning Tuesday's night ABC News debate against Trump, although subsequent polls have shown little change in voter attitudes, and several informal surveys found undecided voters backing Trump after the primetime showdown. The vice president's campaign immediately called for a second debate, and Trump appeared open to the idea, telling Fox News on Wednesday that he would take part, but only if the debate was hosted by a fair network. In a post to this True Social platform on Thursday, however, the Republican announced that he will debate his Democratic rival again. Quote, when a prize fighter loses a fight, The first words of his mouth are, "I want a rematch." Trump wrote, quote, "Polls clearly show that I won the debate against Comrade Kamala Harris, the Democrats' radical left candidate, on Tuesday night, and she immediately called for a second debate." I'm so sorry about this American decadence, American unbelievable decadence. They really don't get what is communism. They really don't get that wokeism is far away from communism. Wokeism is far away from communism. Wokeism is reactionary, reactionary, just like Nazis, reactionary just like Adolf Hitler. Yeah, Adolf Hitler was wokeist. That's what people doesn't realize. He was superficial, That's it, superficiality. Wokeism, it is superficiality and against free speech. Wokeism is against free speech, just like the Nazis. Anyway, that's it. And well, Kamala Harris is not a comrade. Is not a comrade. She is imperialist. Democrats are imperialists. They destroy 7 countries in 5 days: Iraq, Libya, Syria, and so on. Terrible shithole America. I'm sorry, but it doesn't have a good level of intellectuality. Polls clearly show that I won, Trump said. Polls clearly show that I won the debate against Comrade Kamala Harris, the Democrats' radical left candidate, on Tuesday night, and she immediately called for a second debate. End of quote. And read more. The debate was rigged. Trump. Quote, she was a no-show at the Fox debate and refused to do NBC and CBS. Trump continued, concluding, Kamala should focus on what she should have done during the last almost 4 years period. There will be no third debate. Quote, we owe it to the voters to have another debate, Harris' campaign wrote on X on Thursday. Trump initially asked Harris to agree to 3 debates, one hosted by Fox News on September 4, another hosted by ABC on September 10, and a third hosted by NBC News on an unconfirmed date. Harris' campaign only agreed to the ABC debate, although Trump wavered about coming to this showdown, accusing the network of ridiculous and biased coverage of him. Throughout the debate, Trump was repeatedly interrupted and fact-checked by ABC hosts David Muir and Lindsay Davis, the latter of whom was a member of Harris' sorority in Howard University in Washington. Harris was not subjected to the same fact-checking despite both candidates making misleading claims. Quote, so many things I said were debunked, totally debunked, Trump told Fox News on Wednesday, but she couldn't say anything she wanted. My stuff was right, but they will correct you. They will correct you. He continued, calling the debate totally rigged. I suppose I will check this, but as I was reading now, I guess the debate is very bad manner. It's a bad manner debate. I will read a previous note. This time is for CGTN now. Let's be positive about the world. We have such a luck. We are so lucky. We have China in this world. We have these nice cell phones, from China. And we have nice journalism from CGTN. 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 And we have nice journalism And that's it. And we have a lot of progress thanks to communism. We have a lot of material progress thanks to communism. And free speech. Wokeism is against free speech, you know? Wokeism is against free speech. Anyway, politics. September 13, 2024. President Xi calls for deepening reform in Gansu to advance Chinese modernization. Updated September 13, 2024. Today, we have a photograph from Chinese President Xi Jinping, also General Secretary of the Communist Party of China Central Committee and Chairman of the Central something. Chinese President Xi Jinping urged Northwest China's Gansu province to deepen reform, make innovation, and do solid work to improve the people's well-being and the region's prosperity, to write a Gansu chapter in Chinese modernization. She also General Secretary of the Communist Party of China, CPC, Central Committee, and Chairman of the Central Military Commission, made the remarks during an inspection from Tuesday to Friday. Gansu should take solid steps in improving ecological conservation and restoration, accelerating green and low-carbon transition, further deepening reform and opening up comprehensively, promoting rural revitalization across the board, better securing people's livelihoods, and strengthening ethnic unity, she said during his inspection tour in Gansu province. On Tuesday afternoon, she visited the Fuxi Temple of Jiangsu City, where he learned about the protection and preservation of cultural heritage. The temple is dedicated to Fuji, a mythical ancestor of the Chinese nation. It is imperative to protect and pass on the previous cultural heritage so that the wisdom and creativity of ancestors will constantly inspire future generations to enhance national pride and confidence, she said. On Wednesday morning, she listened to the report of a local water diversion project and urged better maintenance and management of the project so that it should play a greater role in improving people's lives. While visiting a Huainyu apple production base, he emphasized the importance of optimizing cultivation of this variety and innovating marketing models so that this specialty industry will be expanded and more people will increase their incomes through it. She then visited Maijishan grottos, where he carefully inspected cave sculptures and paintings that date back over 600 years. He called on cultural relic workers to make greater contributions to promoting the preservation and innovative development of China's traditional culture and enhancing its influence. On Wednesday afternoon, she came to Lanzhou, the provincial capital, at a local residential community. He emphasized the necessity of focusing on the practical needs of residents, especially the elderly and children, and continuously improving community services. During his visit to retired party member Li Shongbiao, she said that local authorities have worked hard in providing elderly care, healthcare, and community services, and the work must continue and improve over time. When speaking to local residents, she said 2024 marks the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China, and the Chinese people will be more united and make more efforts to create even greater achievements. He extended his solidarity greetings to the residents ahead of this year's Mid-Autumn Festival, which falls on September 17th. She then inspected the section of the Yellow River near the Songshan Bridge in Lanzhou and learned about the ecological protection of the country's mother river. He called for joint efforts in protecting the river so that it will benefit the people forever. On Friday morning, she listened to the work report from the CPC Gansu Provincial Committee and the provincial government. Gansu should promote new type industrialization, accelerate the transformation and upgrading of traditional industries, build a significant national manufacturing base for new energy and new energy related equipment, and fortify the ecological security in the western part of the country, she said. He stressed the need to deepen reform and expand opening up with greater courage and determination, and to implement the people-centered new urbanization strategy effectively. She emphasized the need to strengthen cultural heritage protection and build the Dunhuang Academy into an example of global cultural heritage protection and a center of Dunhuang studies. He also called for efforts to advance the building of national cultural parks dedicated to the Great Wall, the Long March, and the Yellow River. Efforts should be made to promote social advancement and governance and lay a solid foundation for common prosperity for people of all ethnic groups, he said. On his way to Gansu, he visited the Baoji Bronzeware Museum in Baoji city of Chanchi province on Tuesday afternoon. He hailed China's bronze civilization and called for better protection, research, and promotion of bronze cultural relics. She also inspected a local riverside ecological park. Kai Qi, a member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee and director of the General Office of the CPC Central Committee, accompanied Xi on the inspection tour. On Thursday morning, she met with senior officers and representatives of soldiers and civilization staff of the Chinese People's Liberation Army troops stationed in Lanzhou. This was sourced by Xinhua News Agency. And I'm going to read the last one from CGTN. One of the front page also. UAE. I'm going to read this. Independent prosecutor reaffirms WADA not biased towards China. The World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, was found to have shown no bias toward China, and its decision not to appeal cases that deemed reasonable according to the final report of an independent prosecutor released on Thursday. The final report presented virtually to WADA's Executive Committee, ex-CEO, by independent prosecutor Eric Cotier, reviewed WADA's handling of the China's anti-doping agency's no-fault contamination cases involving Chinese swimmers in 2021. Accepted. Communism is better. Communism won. Is better. You have to accept it. Accept and stop suffering and accept it. We have a photograph. The World Anti-Doping Agency holds a press conference at the main press center of the Paris Olympics on July 25, Paris, France. Quote, I am pleased to confirm that my conclusions, which were published via my interim report on July 9, have not changed. The information in the file shows that WADA has done its works autonomously, independently, and professionally, and that there is no evidence that to the contrary. WADA has applied the rules to which its activity is subject. Cotier said in his opening remarks to Exco, WADA President Witold Banca said, quote, we especially welcome Mr. Cotier's suggestion that we look at the rules concerning group contamination. These Chinese swimming cases reflect the inherent difficulty of dealing with cases of alleged contamination, with laboratories now able to routinely detect tiny concentrations of prohibited substances in the million or even billion of a gram range. Many of the adverse findings are theoretically compatible with trace inadvertent contamination scenarios, including very intricate and seemingly improbable ones, are being accepted more and more readily by tribunals. End of quote. Cotier was appointed on April 25 by the Exco and task reviewed WADA's handling of the 2021 Chinese swimmers contamination case. He delivered an interim report on July 9, which concluded that WADA had acted without bias and handled the case reasonably. Source Xinhua News Agency. Accepted. Communism is America great again. Make America materially great again. That's the paradigm. That's the question. America was great thanks to Marxism. And well, we have a live video, a live stream from Danny Haipong. I'm going to listen.
Media was screaming and yelling about human rights and about how President Assad was killing his own people. The reality was that the people behind the Western media, they were the ones who were destroying Syria, because Syria is key to the resistance. Syria today is playing a key role in the resistance. So if the Israeli regime actually attacked a factory that's making munitions or missiles, it's doing it for the resistance. And therefore, Syria, unlike Turkey, is actively supporting the resistance. Syria, unlike any other Arab country in the region, is actively supporting the resistance. And that is, again, why they've been punished for so long. That's why they're sanctioned. That's why their country is occupied. Turkey, people of Turkey, of course, show great sympathy towards the Palestinian people, but the Turkish intelligence, the Turkish military, the Turkish government, they've destroyed so much of Syria. They've sent tens, if not hundreds of thousands of extremists and terrorists into Syria or armed them inside Syria, but they won't send a single bullet to the West Bank or Gaza. They won't send any of those extremists or those Wahhabis or those Salaf to Palestine to defend the Palestinian people. So I think we have to rethink everything. We have to go back to the past and better understand what happened. So the Syrians are obviously, according to what the Israelis are claiming, they were attacking a factory that was supporting the resistance. Now, in reality, the Israelis are lying. They changed the story. first they were saying that they captured Iranians or people affiliated to Iran. They showed no evidence of that because they didn't capture anyone. Second of all, the factories that exist in Syria are spread out across the country. Small factories here and there. There's nothing big for the Israelis to go and destroy. And also we saw that the Israelis killed a lot of innocent civilians, which of course that is their major success. What happened in this attack was basically the massacre of ordinary Syrians. So there was no major target. There was no achievement. It was a massacre of ordinary people who went to help the injured.
So that's the famous Professor Marandi. And I just realized I have a Brazilian plant here, look. Yellow and green and yellow. Do you know? Green and yellow in Brazil is the color of fascism, believe it or not. People don't know nothing about Brazil. These colors in politics are so fascist. People don't even wear the jersey, the Brazilian jersey. I wonder if is there an official Brazilian from the goalkeeper, if there is an official red Brazilian jersey. But that's it for now. I guess I need more yoga, but I'm fine and well. Oh yeah, I don't think Brazil is perfect neither, you know. Maybe I will back to Brazil, but I think Brazil is just another Latin country full of kids, grown up kids, immature Latins.